أهلا بكم طالبات وطلاب جريد 1 بريب. برحب بكم ومع بعض هنبدأ حلقة جديدة ودرس جديد في الماث تحت رعاية وإشراف وزارة التربية والتعليم. درسنا النهاردة هنتكلم فيه عن the last two concepts in chapter 1 وهما dividing rational numbers with distance between any two points on the number line. So let's get started. Dividing rational numbers and application on rational numbers. Our warming up for today's lesson is about how to multiply rational numbers. And as we said before, we will multiply the numerators and then multiply the denominators. So here we have 3 times 7 is 21. And 4 times 6 is 24. Then divide by 3 up and down. 21 divided by 3 is 7, and 24 divided by 3 is 8, to put it in the simplest form. Now we are gonna solve it by another way, to start with simplifying first, and that is the better way. 3 over 4 times 7 over 6. I'm gonna think, I need you to focus on this problem and ask yourself which number we can divide by it. Just think for 3 seconds. By looking, we can divide by 3 up and down. So 3 divided by 3 is 1, 6 divided by 3 is 2. Then multiply 1 times 7 is 7, and 4 times 2 is 8. Here, it is better to simplify before multiplying if possible. So not all the time is possible. So, and this example is possible in it. Let's take another one. Here we have 9 over 13 times 2 over 9. I'm going to solve it by the first way, which is multiplying first. So 9 times 2 is 18, and 13 times 9 is 117. And here we need much time to simplify it. We will divide by 9, maybe divide by 3 first, then divide by 3 one more time. So we will get 2 over 13. But the better way here, just by looking, we can cancel 9 up and down, divide by 9 up and down. So it will be 1 times 2 is 2, and 1 times 13 is 13. And that is the difference between two students. واحد داخل الامتحان وعارف إنه فاهم كويس جدا، وواحد تاني داخل الامتحان وفاهم كويس جدا بس سريع. That's what I want you to focus on, to be faster on the exam. So I'm gonna give you some hints for today's lesson to be faster. So in multiplication, we have to simplify before multiplying if possible. For this one, 3 over 4 times 20 over 17. I need to ask you which number we can divide by it. 3 seconds. Yes, we can divide by 4 up and down. So divide by 4 is 1, divide by 4 is 5. 3 times 5 is 15, and 1 times 17 is 17. So we get it immediately instead of multiplying 4 times 17 and 20 times 3. This way we will take much time. So keep in mind, you have to simplify before multiplying if possible. Let's start the division operation. Example 1. 3 over 5 divided by 9 over 11. We are going to apply KFC. So keep the first fraction as it is, 3 over 5. Flip the second fraction. It is 9 over 11. Then flip it to be 11 over 9. Change division to multiplication. Now, let's think about which number we can divide by it. We are going to divide by 3 up and down. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 9 divided by 3 is 3. Then multiply 1 times 11 is 11. 5 times 3 is 15. Example 2. 6 over 5 divide by negative 9 over 10. So I need you to focus with me about the KFC. When you are watching me, I need you to participate, not only to listen and watch. You have to write your pen and try with me. So here, we are going to write the first one as it is, 6 over 5. Flip the second fraction to be 10 or negative 10 over 9, then change division to multiplication. So let's multiply or simplify. The better way is to simplify. So we are going to divide by 3 up and down with 6 and 9. So 6 divided by 3 is 2, 9 divided by 3 is 3. And we can simplify more. Divide by 5 up and down. 5 divided by 5 is 1, 10 divided by 5 is 2. Then multiply the numerators. 2 times 2 is 4, and 1 times 3 is 3, and don't forget the negative sign. So the answer is negative 4 over 3. Now, let's watch video from EKB.
Previously, we explained the properties of the addition, subtraction, and multiplication. Now we will talk about the different properties of division operation in Q. Click on the icons to know more about each property. The first property is the closure property. The set of rational numbers is enclosed under division operation. That's because the division by 0 is impossible in Q. For example, if 0 belongs to Q and 3 over 4 belongs to Q, then dividing 3 over 4 by 0 is meaningless. That's because we cannot divide by 0. The second property is the cumulative property. It states that the division operation in Q is not commutative. Look at the example on the screen. We have two rational numbers, 1 over 6 and 3 over 4. In the first case, we divide 1 over 6 by 3 over 4, so we will multiply 1 over 6 by 4 over 3, then simplify the result to 2 over 9. While in the second case, we divide 3 over 4 by 1 over 6, so we will multiply 3 over 4 by 6 over 1, then simplify the result to 9 over 2. So, we have two different results from the division of operations, which means that 1 over 6 divided by 3 over 4 does not equal 3 over 4 divided by 1 over 6. The third property is associative property, which states that the division operation in Q isn't associative. Look at the example shown on the screen. We have three rational numbers, 2 over 3, 1 over 5, and 7 over 4, and we will use the division operation. In the first case, we will divide the first two rational numbers together, then divide the result by the third rational number, and this operation result is 40 over 21, as you see on the screen. While in the second case, we will divide the last two rational numbers together, then we divide the first rational number by their result, and this operation result is 35 over 6, as it is obvious. So, we have two results that aren't equal. The fourth property is the existence of the identity element. You should know that there isn't identity element, or as we call it, neutral element in the division operation in Q. The fifth property is the existence of the identity inverse. Since there isn't identity element in division operation, also there aren't inverse numbers in division operation in Q.
And as you see in this video, the division is not closed, property is not commutative, and it's not associative, and there is no identity element in division. Example, if x is equal to negative 1 over 3, y is equal to 3 over 4, and z equals negative 3. Find the numerical value of x over y minus y over z. Here we are going to recap the whole chapter. We will multiply and add and subtract and divide rational numbers. So the first step, we will find x over y, which is replace x with its value, -1 over 3, and divide it by y, which is 3 over 4. So one more time, x over y means x divided by y. And as we said, we will write the first one as it is, -1 over 3, change the division to multiplication, and flip the second fraction. It is 3 over 4, so rewrite it as 4 over 3. Then multiply the numerators and the denominators, because we cannot simplify in this example. So 1 times 4 is 4, 3 times 3 is 9, and put the negative sign because it's negative times positive. Do you remember that Chinese face? They are different signs, so the answer is negative. Then find y over z. Y over z, we can write it as y divided by z. 3 over 4 divided by -3, which is z. Then keep the first one, 3 over 4 as it is. Change the division to multiplication and flip the second fraction. Here, this -3 is over 1. We will flip it so it becomes -1 over 3. Then have a look, we can divide by 3 up and down, so 1 times 1 is 1, and 4 times 1 is 4, and here we have the first fraction is positive, the second is negative, so positive times negative is negative. We need to subtract them now. X over y minus y over z. So take the first one, -4 over 9 minus -1 over 4. And as we said, if we have two negative signs after each other, they will be positive. So we are going to write it as positive. Okay, let me ask you, which case do we have right now? Same denominator, convert one to the other, or cross multiplication? Here, the denominator is 9 and 4. They are not the same. Okay, can I convert one to the other by multiplying? Can we convert 4 to be 9? 4 times what is 9? It cannot be. So we will do cross multiplication. So here, the 3 lines, 4 times 4 is 16, 9 times 1 is 9, and down we have 9 times 4 is 36. So here we have different sign. We are going to recap chapter 1, okay? We have negative and positive number. So different signs, sign of bigger, then subtract. 16 is the bigger one, so I'm going to put the negative sign and subtract. 16 minus 9 is 7. So the answer is -7 over 36. So in one problem ده اللي أنا عايزة أركز عليه النهاردة، في سؤال واحد بس أنا رجعت chapter 1 as a whole. يعني عملت multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. وده اللي أنا عايزة تركزوا عليه لأن ده اللي بيجي في الامتحان. Let's take another one. Application on rational numbers. Our warming up is about absolute value. Okay? The absolute value is always positive without sign. Okay? So the absolute value of 2 is 2. We can write it like that. The absolute value of 2 is 2. The absolute value of -7 is 7 without sign. The absolute value of 0 is 0 because 0 doesn't have a sign. The absolute value of 3 over 5 is 3 over 5 for any number, okay? Integer, fraction, rational number, for any rational number. So now we will talk about the distance between any two numbers on the number line. To find the distance between two numbers, x and y, on the number line, use the absolute value as follows. the absolute value for x minus y. And notice that the absolute value, we can write it as x minus y, or the absolute value of y minus x. So the order, it doesn't matter inside the absolute value. We can start from any number. Okay, why? Because we will get a number, positive or negative number, and we will take it out from the absolute value without sign. Okay, example 1. Find the distance between 3 and 9. I'm going to solve it as absolute value of 3 minus 9. Here, sign of bigger than subtract. The 3 is positive and 9 is negative, okay? So sign of bigger than subtract, so it will be the absolute value of negative 6, which is 6. Or start with 9, the absolute value of 9 minus 3. So it's the absolute value of 6, which is 6. So here, it's up to you to start with any number. You will get the same answer in both. Practice. Find the distance between negative 7 and 10. So immediately we need to use the absolute value. The absolute value of negative 7 minus the absolute, or sorry, minus 10. So here we have same sign. Negative 7, negative 10. Same, add. So put the same sign and add them. 7 and 10 is 17. So the absolute value of negative 17 is 17. Another one. The distance between two negative numbers, which are negative 2 and negative 5. So the absolute value of negative 2 minus negative 5. And as we said before, many times if we have two negative signs come after each other, so write it as positive. So it's negative 2 plus 5. Here we have different signs, sign of bigger than subtract in adding and subtracting. So the sign of bigger, 5 is bigger, take its sign, which is positive, and subtract 5 minus 2, which is 3. So the absolute value of 3 is 3. Remark. There is a unique rational number lying at middle of the way between any two rational numbers. The number that lies at midpoint of the way between any two numbers is equal to the greater number minus half the distance between the two numbers, or the smaller number plus half the distance between the two numbers. So it's up to you to take any one of them. Start with greater, so subtract from it the half distance, or start with the smaller and add for it the half distance. Okay, let's apply it. Example 1. Find a rational number in halfway between 2 over 5 and 3 over 7. We have 3 steps to solve this problem. The first one, I need you to compare between the two numbers to know the smaller one and the bigger one. So here we have 2 over 5 and 3 over 7. To compare fractions, we need to make cross multiplication. And as you can see here, 2 times 7 is 14, 5 times 3 is 15. So 14 is less than 15. So the bigger one is 3 over 7 because 14 is less than 15. So here we have the bigger one, and we can rewrite it as 15 over 35. Why? Because the denominator we multiplied 5 and 7. So it's 15 over 35. This is the first step. The second one. Find the distance between the two numbers. To find the distance, we will subtract, okay, inside the absolute value, 3 over 7 minus 2 over 5. Which case do we have? Same denominator, convert one to the other, or cross multiplication. So here we have 15 over 35, we are going to make cross multiplication. 15 over 35 minus 14 over 35, which is 1 over 35. And the third is 4. Use the rule. The rational number in halfway is equal to the greater. I picked the greater minus half the distance. So the greater was 3 over 7 minus half the distance. Half as it is. The distance was 1 over 35. So let's multiply those. 1 and 1, 2 times 35. So it's 15 after making cross multiplication. Here we have 35. It will be 70 times 2 up and down. So 15 times 2 is 30. 70 for 35 times 2 minus 1 over 70, which is 29 over 70. That's all about chapter 1 as a whole. We recap it. We revised the addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So I need you to keep in mind that when we divide, use KFC. Thank you so much. Let me see you next time and be ready for chapter 2. Bye-bye.